This video shows the process of carving a relief into a large round block of yellow material, which appears to be beeswax or a similar malleable substance. Here's a step-by-step description of the activities shown. Drawing the outline. A person holds the large yellow round block. They use a blue marker or pen to draw an initial large leaf-like shape on the surface, followed by concentric, circular, and curved lines within the main shape. These lines define the basic structure and details of the intended design. Initial carving, or deepening the main outline. The person begins carving the material along the drawn lines using a small, sharp gouge or carving tool. They start with the main, larger outlines, removing thin shavings of the yellow material. Carving inner details and removing material. The carving continues, focusing on removing material around the inner lines, particularly around the circular part of the design, to start establishing a relief effect and defining the inner structure. Clearing degree. The person uses their hand and a brush to sweep away the accumulating shavings and debris to better see the carved lines and shapes. Roughing out the main shape. A wider, flatter carving tool is used to aggressively remove larger chunks of material from the outer areas and to deepen the main contours, significantly establishing the depth of the relief and the three-dimensional form of the large leaf-like shape. Refining contours and separating sections. The carving continues with the wider tool, defining the edges and surfaces of the central raised area and the surrounding borders. The goal is to smooth and shape the broad curves. More debris clearing and shaping. The person clears the shavings again and continues using various carving tools to refine the curved inner and outer lines, deepening the relief in certain sections to clearly separate the main elements. Smoothing and shaping the central raised section. A tool with a curved or rounded edge is used to smooth and contour the large raised center of the design. Marking and carving secondary details. The artist uses a tool to incise or mark parallel lines across a section of the relief, possibly representing fingers or toes. They then use a small straight-edged chisel to cut away and shape the material around these marks, creating segmented raised details. Further shaping and defining segments. The carving is continued with the straight chisel, shaping the individual segmented forms and defining the spaces between them. They periodically smooth the surface with their finger. Refining edges and inner curves. A small pointed or narrow curve tool is used to clean up the tight corners and inner curves of the overall design, removing small bits of material. Redrawing inner details. The blue marker is brought back out to redraw and finalize the swirling concentric circular patterns within the main circular area. New segmented shapes are also marked near the previously carved segments. Carving and shaping the swirling detail. A small curved gouge is used to carve along the newly drawn concentric lines, creating the spiral pattern in a deeply recessed relief. Brush cleaning and finalizing spiral details. A brush is used to clean the carved area. Then the small gouge is used to refine the inner edges of the spiraling center. Carving and shaping the remaining segments. The artist focuses on the outer segmented shapes, using different small tools, straight and curved gouges, to carve out the background and define the shape and contours of each segment, creating a rounded, raised appearance. Adding detail to the segments. Using a fine pointed tool, the artist carves intricate details on the surface of the smaller segmented shapes, adding subtle contours and separations, particularly at the ends. Adding radial texture to the circular center. The artist uses a fine pointed tool to carve small radial lines radiating outwards within the central circular area, creating a sunray or textured pattern. Final cleaning and finishing touches. The larger flat tool is used for a final cleanup of the border. The brush is then used extensively to dust away all the remaining shavings, revealing the finished, highly detailed relief sculpture in the yellow material.